Welcome to GameBreakers. My name is Thomas. I am here with Allison, Diamond, and David, and we are playing Dungeons & Dragons. This is a Bard's Edition game. Let's see. Welcome back, everybody. We are all here and accounted for. When last we left our intrepid heroes, they were preparing for a trip to the desert. They have discovered that their enemy has plans to do something to a blue dragon named Dunarrow, and for some reason, and there's a lot of mystery around what's going on. But you know you have 12 days, it turns out, before the celestial occurrence, the Black Convergence, that signifies whatever it is that the plan entails. So you guys find yourselves in the breakfast nook at the library. Abris has served you all your second favorite. You had your favorite yesterday, and he likes to mix it up. You have some time to sit and plan, prioritize, and figure out what's going on.
When are we leaving?
Well, how are we getting there?
We can travel by aircraft or by druid.
Well, so the airship will definitely take us like 5 days or something to get there. I don't remember. I know we said it last session.
Because it's limited by physics.
Yeah. I was thinking...
We also don't know exactly where we're going yet.
Yeah.
Semantics.
Right? That makes it hard to figure out exactly how long it's going to take.
Yeah. But it's not going to be closer to instant. Like, we got to figure out where we're going, like Stan said. And then...
A note.
Campbell can figure out where we're going already.
Your instantaneous travel requires a target tree that your caster has seen. So depending on where you're going, you may hit closer or farther from the target.
I was thinking, although we don't know exactly where we're going, that one option might be to like do your druid dance over and then take the ship back. The downside of taking the ship, just so y'all remember, is that we're crossing a ley line, right? Thomas? Okay. And did I tell you about the Featherbeard? And Targrid the no-face jerk face? We have that conversation?
I don't believe so.
By your looks of disbelief and confusion, I'm going to go with no.
I feel like I would remember that.
Yeah.
So on the way here, on this airship, that the same airship that I now own. God, that's weird. We had to go through one of the ley lines that separate the different sort of chunks of the land and sea here. And on the way through, there was a pirate ship that apparently was doing some sort of magic something and attacked, tried to attack us, I think. But anyway, it turned into these big electric griffins who attacked us, and we had to use, I and this black-robed cousin of mine named Targrid, who's an asshole, jerkface, both had to use magic to try and solve that problem. And I ended up with a beard made of feathers, and he ended up with no face. So...
So, wild magic.
Yeah, essentially. But it's more fun when you get to imagine me with a beard of feathers.
I always do. Yeah, I've met sorcerers before. I've seen it happen.
So it does make it potentially dangerous. And I think merely having magical objects also makes it dangerous. And there ain't a one of us that doesn't. So I'd rather have the dangerous on the way back than the way in, just as a possible consideration.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So you were planning to have your flight crew take the ship there for us?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you think?
Do they know what they're getting into?
Not yet. There's a whole nother series of conversations to have. But they're awfully fond of me.
That'll be your job.
Well, we got to figure out where we're going first, and I expect that's also probably my job.
Finding a location sounds like your job, because you're better at learning random stuff than I am.
I'm just going to ask, like, Harridan and Jubal, but...
Also, I'm kind of busy at the moment building stuff to help us stay alive out there. All of us.
That's good that it includes all of us. What about you, Stan? What's up with you?
Well, I'm interested in finding out about Dunharrow and helping with that. That's where my interest lies. It seems to be the most pending.
I feel like we have an opportunity to maybe get information just directly from the library and academy. We're a little bit rock stars right now.
A little bit.
Kind of worth using. I'm also like sincerely interested in I don't know if I can do it before we leave, but I want to talk to the voice. There was an invitation to go have a meeting with them.
Mm-hmm. At midnight at Shot's Tavern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that nobody knows how they work makes me wonder if they don't have some ability to help us that maybe other folks don't. And they seem overall like, positive regard.
Yeah. I'm interested in seeing what they have to say. I do worry that if they're the first people we bring in, I don't think we should make it too public, because then nobody else seems to like the voice. I don't really understand it. They seem like nice folks. They kill undead. What's there to dislike?
It's because they're mysterious, and that makes people nervous.
I feel like they also can't control them is part of it. Like, that they're not into the intrigues that seem to be occurring between all these multiple faction things, and makes them a wild card. Devil,
Mm.
But I think the fact that they're a wild card also may be beneficial to us. But I understand what you're saying about the intrigue thing. So
they're an unquantifiable variable, and nobody likes those.
Yeah. Well, pretty covert meeting, midnight at Shots. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want to hear what they have to say, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So CliqClaq, you have to get a goo for Lovelace to be in the desert, right?
No. This is in character? I did some research into what that entity is, and it's not a viable resource.
Why not?
It'll kill me.
Okay. Is this like a monster or something, or can we talk to it? Like,
but if they so choose to, they can slave you, and there's nothing. And if it works, there's nothing you can do about it, and you're their slave as long as they're on the same plane as you until they die.
Is there any way to get the goo without trying to attack them?
I'm already building Plan B.
Mind if I ask anyway? What's the creature?
There's an aboleth that is as an advisor on the council, but it looked like my options were engage in a physical fight that I would lose, or try to be socially persuasive. I'm not good at either one.
I told him he should hire some other adventurers to do it.
It's not a bad idea.
If Struana, if you want to try to talk to the advisor one, go ahead. I'm just letting you know, I have already started literally building something else to serve the same purpose.
Good to have a plan B.
Something that doesn't involve potentially fatal goo. If the goo touches you, you can only breathe underwater.
Wow.
That's yeah. Jesus.
I'm building something instead.
All right, that's easier.
There's also, I mean, not to add to the like million possible things that we need to consider, but there's also we haven't talked to all the districts yet.
Yeah.
And I know, Stan, that was your sort of thing for a little bit, was to talk to everyone and try to like help make sure they were on board for. I'm still not clear what for if Boromir shows up in the city with a dragon, I think, or a million army of undead or whatever.
I mean, ideally, they just what I'd like to see is just have them all march to where he is and beat him into the ground. But I'm not a strategist.
You punch things well, though, so there's that.
It's true.
I'm looking for the synod. The Pantheon, Thomas. I'm looking in your Delta Confederacy's visitor's guide for the name of the person who is like we would talk to for the synod or information about them, but I don't have it.
It is a representative body from all the churches. The rank is very esoteric. It is based on some sort of celestial, like, deific ranking system. So it's, I don't know, you got a knowledge religion check?
I always have a knowledge religion check. Jack of all trades, baby. I mean, it's not as good as other things, but I'm still gonna try. Not with my real dice, because apparently they got misplaced, which is really sad.
Oh.
What? Oh, toll, not toll. No. I don't know anything. That's not a crit fail, but I don't know anything.
So you're not really sure how they rank the members of the synod, but you, and you're not from here, so you don't really know much of anything.
This is maybe I can BS my way through it.
Right,
I took
and
classes in that.
the visitor's guide offers no help on the matter. It's Tourism Bureau does not get involved in religion.
There's some great museums on the subject. Let me show you where they are.
Where you can go view holy relics, pilgrimages that happen, and when they typically do, etc.
Exactly.
Well,
It is the Orange District in the center of the city, by the way.
thank you. I have an idea of what I would like to start doing. And the first thing is figuring out where we're going so that we can figure out how much time we got before we have to leave.
Mhm.
Are you all right with using these earpieces to talk over for that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I will remind you of one other resource for that. Ishka, the druid, is known to is going to be your send-off point and is known to have traveled in that area. He may have heard tell of a giant blue dragon, or well, presumably giant. I don't know. Maybe it's a wormling. Oh.
Right.
And break.
All right. Abris clears your dishes. You all head about your tasks. Who would like to take some spotlight first? Spotlight. Looking for a home.
I feel like, David, I'm most worried about yours dropping, so I think that you should start it.
What I have to do doesn't need to be played out. I'm going and buying a thing, and then I'm working in the workshop.
Okay.
So another week of downtime rolls for CliqClaq. You will. Which workshop are you going to be spending time in? You got Hezrig, you got Durmach, and you've got the Grove.
The Grove. For what I
Okay.
need to build, I'm gonna go to the Grove.
Okay.
I detour to buy the bottle of water, and then I head to the Grove.
All right. So your downtime complication at the Grove is going to be popularity. It's going to take you an extra an extra D8 hours per day to get anything done. And if it goes too high, you may get fatigued because everybody wants to come talk to you. Everybody wants to come congratulate you. Everybody is interested in like, can I have your signature? Can I help you with what you're doing? What are you doing here? This looks really interesting. Everybody wants to be your friend. None of them are malicious about it, but it is a time suck. Right.
At about the 3-hour mark, I would build a barricade.
All right, so that'll actually be the thing that interrupts the time. Then is the hours it took to build the barricade that nobody could get through.
I have to fabricate some barbed wire.
You're gonna get like J.D. Salinger status, where people make pilgrimages to where they think you live.
And they're all wrong.
All right. CliqClaq is literally barricaded in his workshop. Stan, are you off to make inquiries? Or was that Struana who was, I may have misheard your plan?
We both are, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stan, where are you headed?
I intend to do the meeting at midnight with the voice. Other than that, I feel like I should do something in Strasbourg. The district.
I'm also going to attend the meeting at midnight, so we should coordinate that.
So I know Bornor has done. There's some banking and funding him through the city, but Stan doesn't know how to follow that up. And that's what he like. He knows that seems important, but it doesn't. I don't know how we go about that.
You did make a friend in the banking clan.
Van Voltmark?
Yep.
He doesn't want to. He wrote he doesn't want to alienate other city districts and their bank accounts. Yeah, I guess I could try and track him down. I mean, who knows where he is if I can catch him today.
He's in his office.
Yeah?
Yeah, bankers are really easy to find.
Right. Except when they're foreclosing. So, yeah, I guess
ass. That's
I'll go to the bank.
all right. You give once you've given your papers at the transit station and then given your papers again at the bank teller, and made your request, you are fairly quickly, taken back to see Anschluss Voltmark. He stands up at his desk. Stan Smith, welcome. Come on, have a seat. What can I do for you today?
Well, but a hot one. So it's he'll open with pleasantries, of which I'm failing to roleplay, and do I have the copy of the letter, or is someone else holding on to that?
You can have it if you want.
I don't know if I trust him that much. It's all well and good to trade bar stories, but what I came here today to talk to you about was Boronor and my growing concern for his return.
Well,
I have good word that there's banks in the city that are funding it. What his operations and his underlings. But I hear you should follow the money, but I've never been good with numbers.
Huh.
So, but I'm good at following things. So what, how do you feel about that? Banks in the city funding an external force.
Well, if it's true, clearly I'm personally disgusted. More importantly, we have to make sure that no banking procedures have been violated. That's what really gets things twisted. It's a very delicate trust we have with everyone in this city and far across the Republic. We wouldn't want to alienate anyone by creed or philosophy. Now, that said, there's a case to be made. I appreciate you bringing this to me. If you'd like, I'll take a look at all the numbers. I'm pretty good with numbers, and I have a whole staff of people who are excellent with numbers. I can track those down if you like. Tell you if there's anything interesting, either in their activity or their contents.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. The future of our city is at stake here, and I appreciate you taking that seriously. And if I can, given what the letter had said, if there's like a date range based on the wording, or if it was dated, I don't recall that it was. But
you had the barest reference to accounts that had been used previously and were about to be used again. So
I guess I could tell him when I found it. which was not too long ago. Week ago? 2 weeks ago?
I can see if I can find any unusual activity in that range. What kind of trade was it? Is this coin, commodity?
There weren't a lot of details.
Make an
Of course.
intelligence check for me.
His strong suit. With a whole bonus of 0.
Dice, don't fail me now.
Do I get advantage on an intelligence check? Nope. 14.
14 is okay. You remember the phrase "soul beads" as one of the commodities being traded that seemed
What was it?
suspicious. Soul beads.
Soul beads.
And at that, his eyes go wide. Like, oh, well, those are dangerous and forbidden. So the good news for you is that lets me open a very deep investigation to make sure that those allegations are false.
Of course.
Good. I'm glad you understand me. I'll take it from here. If you have any other information, I'll take it off your hands.
Can you take a copy of this letter?
Of course. If that's all you have is a date range, some unique items, and any names on the accounts that would mean anything.
Just do you have the letter that we actually picked up from there?
Yes.
It's written to Eskrian Keybinder. I copied the text into my stuff.
Oh, thank you. Eskrian Keybinder was the name of the letter.
Hmm.
Also, Dune Harrow and Black Convergence are both mentioned specifically. That's how we got that name thing.
Mm.
And oh no, we know what that is. Never mind.
But not in reference to the accounts. So, if there's nothing else, I'll get right on this.
Thank you. I'll shake his
Okay.
hand.
Thank you. A lesser man would have used this information differently. I really appreciate your candor.
Yep, just doing my job.
I'll remember that later. And then he starts shuffling papers. He doesn't want to dismiss you, but
I leave.
all right. You hear a flurry of activity from the office once you pass the secretary, him like having conversations and like, do you speak Dwarven? Of course you speak Dwarven, right?
Yeah. Dwarvish.
Okay. Phrases like "heads will roll" and "I'll have his fingers on an anvil if this is true," and like it's not a pleasant conversation. He's really seriously furious about this. You played it cool while you were there. Like, yes. But yeah, from the scraps you can catch as you're going out, like the trade of souls is strictly forbidden, and the dwarves have no part of it. It is forbidden because they will not insure the transaction. Like the bank said, you will not trade souls. If you do, we have no part of it. And so that seems to be the rule that has been violated.
Bureaucracy wins again.
Hey, lawful. See, it doesn't always suck. Struana, while Stan is most likely hitting the closest bar outside the bank on his way to wherever, what are you doing?
I'm actually going to start by talking to Harridan and get a little bit of direction.
Okay. Hey, it's the new master of the Delta. He adjusts his cap a little and gets young.
That's an absurd, wonderful little illusion.
Just a note, it's because I introduced him having had palsy, and I didn't know how important you guys were going to make him to the story, and I can't only talk with one side of my face the whole time, and I feel like that's kind of like... So, and he's young again.
Well, with a lot of gratitude to a lot of masters, we survived a pit fiend, found out some deep, dark secrets, and now we have to go to the desert. Can you help me get some direction on who I need to talk to next?
Well, of course, it always depends on what you want to do. You're headed to the desert to stop Orinor from what again?
Somethinging a blue dragon named Duneharrow. So while I don't know for sure if it's killing or doing other terrible things, the Finger and I have had some conversations during very late nights, and he may try to turn it undead, which would be some form of nightmare for this city.
As I overheard the conversation with Sangrid, though, wasn't that what Estrion's whole rigmarole was about? And didn't you already foil that? There's something else going on here, clearly. He talked about a plan B. So what you really need to do is cash in that giant favor that I manipulated Harridan into owing you. You need to talk to him very frankly about Duneharrow. I can't tell you any more than that.
You said Harridan, but you meant to say...
I'm sorry, what? You need to cash in that very large favor with Jubal that I manipulated him into having, and ask him very clearly about the Duneharrow. I can't talk any more about it than that.
Okay. I'm just brushing. So, do you know anything about an obsidian dragon? Bug.
I don't know. Let's find out. But Jubal is lucky.
Jubal or Harridan?
Harridan, damn it!
Harridan.
They're all crossed up in my head now with their goddamn intrigues.
One's a halfling and one is not.
Harridan thinks to himself for a while. Yeah, the other one's a lich. Harridan thinks for like obsidian. I mean, we're not talking about some kind of statue or item. You're talking about an actual living, breathing creature that is an obsidian dragon.
So I'm going to explain to him what I saw during the battle, which somebody did a thing. My memory, Diamond's memory of this is a little fuzzy.
It was passed on to you that Stan and CliqClaq had hung out with a druid that turned into an obsidian dragon via a spell that requires you to have seen the creature you're changing into.
That is the thing.
That was where you got the like, wait a minute.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So let him know that
he kind of like squints his eyes and almost looks old again for a second. I haven't heard of anything made of obsidian. but I have heard about very old, very strange draconic creatures made of types of crystal. And this sounds like it might be one of those. That's my only explanation. Well, I basically discounted it when I heard it, except it came from a trusted source who didn't drink or do a lot of hallucinogenics. You know, I have a few of those.
Aren't crystal dragons something you release in book 5 and we're still in book 3?
I have no real confirmation they exist, but it sounds like they do. I mean, the rules of magic work a certain way, especially for druids. And if he's seen something like that, clearly it exists, which also suggests that the legends of other dragon types in the crystalline variety, topaz, amethyst, I think I've heard tell of, might be some sort of diamond or clear crystal. I don't really know all the details.
It's interesting. It's not much. I mean, will you keep an ear out, I guess?
Yeah. Sounds like it's worth following up with Ishka if you're curious. Sounds like he has a story to tell.
Most likely. It's just how quickly I might see him. It's a whole nother thing. Gosh. I want to ask you about Goop.
I can't tell you how.
CliqClaq was attempting to make a potion so that his giant crab Lovelace can survive in the desert that we're eventually going to, which is the next thing I'm going to ask you about. Well, it's sort of started there, but he needs aboleth goo, aboleth mucus for this potion.
Ew.
Yeah, that ew, but also he said that he spent some time researching the creature and that it's like, no, I'll die, so I'm not going to do it.
No problem then.
I obviously, if he's going to die, I have no interest in attacking an aboleth. Also, I understand that there's one on the Azure Council.
There's an advisor to one of the city council, but anybody who has an aboleth for an advisor clearly represents an aboleth. So you know.
Clearly represents yes. Yeah, no, that was explained. The question is about, is there a safe way, or is there a way to ask for the goo, or somewhere we can purchase it without trying to attack and kill a thing?
Well, you could approach one of its cadre. Aboleths keep whole swarms of slaves around them at any given time to perform all their menial tasks. There's got to be one that's a secretary or something to get a message through if you'd like to make a request. I don't know that you want to do the kind of favors an aboleth might ask you to do, though.
That's pretty fair. Well, it was worth asking. I think he's got a plan B if you don't have an easy way to figure out plan A.
It always seems like a plan A through Z kind of gnome to me.
In plans H through Q, Hardison dies. So.
The desert.
The desert. We got to figure out where we're going, which is going to be based on me talking to Jubal, but other than that, I understand that there are giant purple worms, and that it's very dry. And that sucks.
Those are two of the very few known facts about the place.
Got anything else?
Have you spoken to Tineric?
No. Sorry, I'm giving my brain a second. Which one's Tineric? Alperino Tineric is which one?
He's the lore bard. You talked to him last week.
Yeah, thank you. So Yes, briefly, but not about this.
Yes, you did.
A little bit. A little bit about this. I don't remember what he said now.
It was like, well, if you took good notes there, he's probably got more information about it than I do. It's a whole other world over there, from what I understand. They don't have any sort of analog for traditions. I mean, even language, common isn't quite the same there. It's hard to get to, hard to survive, and hard to make it back from. So it's hard to get stories from there. Wizards are forbidden. They may not enter the territory unless they are essentially slaves of someone that is supposed to be there.
Do bards count?
Nope. Happily, we enjoy the same privilege of bardic travel that exists with all other lands that are easy to get to.
So it's not magic they have a problem with.
It is magic they had a problem with, but the upholding of the bardic accords is part of what keeps open war from developing. I mean, if the wizards really wanted to enforce their brand of magic in the desert, they could make an attempt. There is no academy there, but if they raised one, I mean, it happened with the Republic, it's happened with the Empire to the east, it's happening to the jungles in the south.
What is happening to, interest is cultural, what happens to children born of whatever race born in the desert who find innate talents for magic?
I don't rightly know.
It's a question.
I have never met one that was trained at the academy. Theoretically, they have some sort of system there.
Other than, bringing enough water, the equivalents. What, if you were going, what would concern you the most?
Oh my God. Oh, right. What terrible mistake had led me to get into the desert from my cushy office? That's what I would be worried about. But assuming I had a reason compelling enough to go, language. I have to be able to talk to people to get anywhere in the world. It's how I make my way. The alternative lingua franca, I don't know, language of the realm is problematic. And if you don't have the spells available, the potions can get costly. And I don't know anyone who speaks the language. After that would be walking into an unknown social power structure where I don't know where I fit, except I know that I'm the outsider. And any rank that there is, I don't have.
Just like nod into my tea for an obnoxiously long period of time.
Those would be my priorities. After that, I mean, get in, get out fast, unless you are trying to write a travelogue for your next master's thesis.
Always. Any idea how to get Jubal's ear? Quickly? Not literally?
I have always thought that if you left a secret note written somewhere hidden, he would instantly know that it exists. But that's just my suspicion about how he operates. If you wanted a direct audience, or even wanted to bypass the need for him and keep that sweet, sweet, fat favor for yourself, you could go straight to the dragon. The Fulminate Citadel is technically Jubal's home. He is tolerated in the rest of the city, but not allowed to be a citizen.
What was the name of the building again?
The Fulminate Citadel.
Thank you. I'm just typing it.
It is this thing on your map. The red glop in the middle of the island, or in the middle of the river.
Well, that is not the craziest idea you've had this week.
You are right. Anything else I can help you with?
No.
Good.
Hopefully the part of the way that you manipulated the show, hopefully the results were worth what you needed to have happen. Pretend that was an effective sentence.
Well, all of my goals were met. You attained your mastership. Jubal's enemies were drawn out. You gained fame, favors from various powerful patrons. You made connections that you needed to make. And you owe it all to me. Everything went exactly the way I planned. And that is how you get to be Poet Laureate in a city like the Delta Confederacy.
So, graceful farewells to Paladin.
All right.
Having not considered just going directly to talk to the dragon, I'm like, that is not a bad idea. So I'm going to go try and find a griffin and fly there. And I'm going to let Stan and CliqClaq know that that's what I'm doing via the phone thingies.
Just going to the Dragon's Island, huh? I'm sure that's... I don't know. I've never gone to a dragon's place uninvited.
There's a simplicity in attempting to go directly to the source that I appreciate.
It's true.
Also, I like Jubal owing me a favor. I don't want to spread it on where is another dragon located. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Not if I don't have to.
Anybody else going to the dragon? Anybody else meeting her at the transit station?
I'll catch up if I can.
Scree! We're going via Scree. It'll be great.
All right. You guys meet at the south end of the island, where the road crosses through. CliqClaq remains barricaded in his workshop. At the transit station, there is a massive bronze gate, bronze gate, emblazoned with a massive portrait of Flumianwyr, and at the bottom, it's engraved in draconic. So long as we please you, may you never need pass. And then Andrew and Gorn, several decades ago.
Please don't eat us. Please.
It is the emptiest transit station you have visited in the city. There are almost no eagles stationed here.
Okay. Well, still, bowing to Giant eagles.
Okay. Everybody mark off your eagle fare, and or everybody that took the eagle. As you approach the gate, you are intercepted by what seems to be just two giant armored suits of armor. A voice comes rumbling low out of one of them. Papers.
Of course.
What business have you here?
Well, we
Wonder
are,
Woman pose.
go
We
for it.
request an audience with Flumianwyr based on the need to discuss Dune Harrow and the door.
It hands you the papers back. They both walk back to their stations silently. Stand. Wait.
We start going
And then-
through.
And then there's kind of a sinking feeling in your stomach, like when the car goes down a hill too fast that you didn't know was there. Just that, and
The camera
every-
does that weird zoom out
you-
effect.
yeah, it does the dolly zoom, and then the background fades and shifts into the. You find yourself at the top of a tower. The walls are open, though supported. There's a roof over you, and it's about a room about 30 feet across. It's circular and open on all sides. As you look down, you are at the north end of the citadel. And as you, if you approach the edge, it's not too hard. You can hear before you approach the massive breathing, like a god's bellows, down below you. There's a shuffling, and you hear tinkling of coins and metals just pouring over each other. And the crest of Flumianwyr rises as you approach, and the massive head of the dragon is directly in front of you. Well, you certainly have come far since last we spoke.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out what to say that sounds clever.
Appropriately flabbergasted.
Yeah, right. And yet we still seem to be spinning our wheels. Or equivalent analogy. What's the equivalent analogy you're going to say to a dragon that's meaningful? Tell us in the doobly-doo.
Do you think dreams are important?
Do not dream unless I wish to. Then I dream as I wish. I do believe that they seem important to you. And so I acknowledge that. But at the task at hand, you have asked after the Dune Harrow.
What?
The tower shakes a little. You have asked after the Dune Harrow.
Yes, in
Why?
fact. Because we believe Boronor is going after him. For it? They?
The nostrils flare. It seems angry.
That's not a way I want a dragon to be in my face. We intend to meet him and stop whatever it is he's planning, but we don't know where to go.
Struana Hardjaw, you seem destined to meddle in the affairs of dragons. Do so at your own peril. In this case, there is indeed a threat. Should I reveal some of these secrets to you, there will be a price.
Isn't there
Will you
always?
pay it?
Isn't there always?
Yes. There is always. Very well then.
All for the
Stack.
story.
Will you pay the price for this knowledge? Stan?
Oh, I thought you were. What is the price?
Unspoken.
And yet we speak of it.
No, you do not. You trust me, or you don't. And that will determine my trust.
I did not think I was going to become indebted to a dragon. But here we are. Indeed.
Stan, you were born in my city. You owe your life to me.
I did not think I would so soon gamble with such powerful players. I am a mere paladin.
Destiny's funny that way. Stan Smith, will you pay the price for this knowledge?
Yes.
Good. I assume that in your execution of this, you will take your gnomish friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
A moment. The air behind you bends a little bit, and in that moment, CliqClaq and Lovelace appear before you, like holding tools as though they were both working on some machine. Just I apologize for the interruption, artisan.
Well, I'm
Your
going to
part-
turn it back over.
Oh no, time is frozen from where you left. I wouldn't.
Is gravity?
Of course. I'm very circumspect. I know
What do
you
you want?
appreciate that. Your party is requesting very critical and sensitive information. Will reveal some amount of the nature of dragons. Guarded information. Price for this knowledge. Will you pay it?
I turn to the other two. Are we paying it?
I think we get to each agree or disagree based on our own reasons. I've agreed. So has Stan.
Yeah.
Right, not peer pressure. It's just your turn.
Yes, sir.
It smirks just a little bit, but doesn't say anything. Dragons are amused by gender. Then a bargain is struck. Life will never be the same for you. And that's where we're going to break for a minute. We'll be back in just a moment with more Dungeons and Dragons: A Bard's Tale. Meanwhile, if you like what you see, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you want it to get better, so do we. Go to Patreon. Help us make it happen. All the links are in the doobly-doo. Meanwhile, have a good game.